Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. It's Monday, which means it is time for yet another one of our viewer specials. So for those who are unaware, this is the weekly video series. Every Monday we take the time out to celebrate you all, the viewers, and all the cool games that you're playing out there. And there's a couple of different ways that we do that. The first of which we're going to start off with here is going to be announced the winner of this week's Plex Leaderboard Challenge. That is our, again, weekly Discord contest where we award prizing to the player with the highest win rate as recorded by Untapped in the server. And for this week, our winner is going to be Max Lee, aka Mr. PLJ. So with a win rate of 70%, did meet the minimum requirements with as far as number of games and finishing in platinum here. Looks like we got there with Snake Eye and Tier 1 mostly, as well as a little bit of Rescue Ace and Unchained. This week, I will say, was very, very close. I think the next person down had a win rate of 69.4%. So it was extremely close this week as far as like who won. But there's always the next week as well. And if you are interested in winning some free prizing in this leaderboard challenge, here is how you can enter. To start, simply head down the description below. The top link there is going to be my affiliate link for the Untapped Companion. It is a free download, and using this link will definitely help support the channel as well. And then below that, you can see the Discord invite link that I'm highlighting right here. Once you're in the Discord, you're going to want to go down to the Master Duel section here, and there is an entire channel where at the bottom called Plex Leaderboard Challenge, where you can not only find the rules and guidelines pinned, but you can submit the link to your Untapped profile. Your Untapped profile will allow me to see your win rate for every game you've had the Untapped Companion open while you play Master Duel, as well as you yourself, of course. And we'll show you a lot of really interesting stats about your own games and the hundreds of thousands of games played in the meta overall. And of course, the other way in which we celebrate you all is with the sort of main event, so to speak, here, and that's watching your replays. So the viewer special, if you are interested in submitting a replay for it, much like the Plex Leaderboard Challenge, you're going to want to head to the description below and find the link over to the Discord there. You'll see a channel called Viewer Special Submissions, and that's where you can leave the info for your replay. Main bit of info I'll need is your 9-digit player ID. That way I can view your publicly saved replays. Please do make sure they are publicly saved. If they are not, then I am not able to view or show them. Also, if you do have, especially if you have multiple replays, please make sure you're leaving either your opponent's name or the date and time, just so I know which game you specifically want me to see. It can also be a little bit helpful too if you want to leave just like a little blurb about the game. It could even be as simple as I played this deck versus this deck. But know that regardless, I do end up watching pretty much every single submission that comes through just about. So even if you don't get featured, one, I assuredly saw your game. I do check them all out every single week. And two, there is always the next week as well. And if you have like 10 different replays saved, you can do 10 different submissions. I'm totally cool with that. I just ask that you don't like submit the same game over and over again. But yeah, otherwise you can submit as many times as you want as long as they're all different games. That is A-okay with me. So let's start taking a look at these games that we got for this week here. Alright, our first submission comes to us from Grim Sky, and I think it's your first time submitting, so welcome to the Discord, and thank you for the submission here. Grim Sky has a game with a pile that I've thought about, but I haven't conceptualized a list for, so very eager to see this. We're going to be playing Horus Punk versus Snake Eye, so again, very eager to see this one here, and again, especially look at the list here. I kind of want to see especially what's in the extra deck, what we got going on. I mean, it's about all the stuff you'd expect to see. But, yeah, no, with Punk's ability to turbo out level 8 monsters, it definitely makes sense that you can access a bunch of really good rank 8s. I'll also just say that I really like the Horus monsters in general. I definitely hugely underestimated how good it is to just summon 4 big dudes to your field. So, ooh, they're leading with the Unicorn and the Wanted here. So, going to be a bit of a push through this game. They're normal summoning Poplar next for the Divine Temple. Activating the Divine Temple, placing the Flamberge, looking off the Poplar for the Link Karibo. I might have done the order a little bit differently. I think I might have... Oh, they already had original in hand, too. Okay, that makes a little more sense. I was like, I would have diabelled to make sure you get the original, I think, first. But if they already had original in hand again, that does make a little more sense. Alright, so now they get to extra deck rip with the Unicorn. They're going to take the SP Little Knight. Using the Wanted to put back. Ah, they do have a Bonfire here, so they can still access the Snake Eye Ash. I was about to say, that's like going to be the big thing here. Oh, but they normaled Poplar already. They did already normal summon the Poplar, so they don't get to normal summon the Snake Eye Ash. Okay, so they're going to set Silvera. And then pass. Okay, Flamberge is potentially live here. Wow, really? Silvera already on the field spell? That's surprising. I think that's very early to use your negate. Especially because you can't use the second effect during the same turn. I was going to say, I don't think you can. Okay, they get to bring back Diabell. Right. Set a Wanted, sure. We're going to E-Telly. They have an Ash Blossom. See, okay, this is what I mention this from time to time, that, like, using your disrupts is a skill, and one that not a lot of people value. With the Silvera and the Ash Blossom, I think our opponent had a lot more potential to stop us there. Like, if they had waited for the Imseti, I don't know why you would negate the field spell when you know an Imseti is coming. Like, that's always going to be the better negate. You could have used the Ash Blossom on that, saved your Omni for something else. Like, I don't know. I think our opponent could have played their disrupts a lot better. And again, this is like why I've often said that using your disruptions wisely is a skill. Like, a lot of people act like once you have the negates up, you've already won the game, but that's not even remotely true. You got to play them well. Speaking of playing well, here we're going to summon the Amazing Dragon and get multiple bounces, or just the one, I guess, but really all you need is a bounce on the Flamberge here. So I see that we elected to forego a Punk line to summon the Horus monsters, which I think going second here was definitely the right call. By having the Imseti and the Hoppy up there, we definitely insulated our line against, like, removal. Because if they had removed our stuff, then we could have started removing theirs with Imseti, adding back cards with Hoppy. Here we can use them to go for Dark for the Link Kribo, making the Selene. Yep, Selene, because Imseti is a spellcaster, which makes Selene access code very viable in any Horus deck. So, oh yeah, this is just gonna be an OT game because we have the Amazing Dragon too. And we know the face down card is Wanted. Yeah, it's just super over at this point. I love, oh god, I love the Horus cards. Like, I am digging this package a lot more than I thought I was going to. And this might just have to be the next Horus deck I end up building. So, thank you for showing that off, Grimsky. Grimsky was not the only one with a Horus Punk deck, by the way. I did see others submitted as well. So, thank you everyone who submitted. Like, I am dutifully taking notes on everyone who's submitting Horus Punk, as I am extremely eager to try this deck out for myself. So, thank you again, not only to Grimsky, but to everyone submitting in general. But, yeah, that was good. That was awesome. Let's check out our next game here. Okay, our next game comes to us from Linky Boy. Linky Boy has a game where they're playing Trap Tricks, I believe. Yep, we're playing Trap Tricks against another Snake Eye. Alright. I love that there's so many submissions of people beating up on Snake Eye. It's good, though. I like it. It's definitely makes for some good watching, that's for sure. So we're going to be going second here. We did open Shifter and Evenly, though, so that bodes pretty well for us. 1-4, I'm going to start by pitching the Birch. We're going to chain the Shifter. So, this is an instance where if we had preemptively Shifter, they wouldn't be able to use the 1-for-1. However, I don't think it would have been a good idea to preemptively Shifter here. I much prefer waiting. It's kind of like Maxi in a lot of ways. Like, I don't think just tossing out Maxi during the draw phase is almost ever right. And I think the same thing is true of Shifter, to be honest. I think that you just want to have it, I think it's best to have it, like, eat some kind of, cards from your opponent's hand, right? Like, make them use resources, you know? Because if you had preemptively Shifted, they wouldn't be able to have 1-for-1 and then gone into the Little Knight, but, like, Little Knight passes totally fine, and also, if they'd not been able to use the 1-for-1, it would still be in their hand to use on the follow-up turn. Especially in a deck like Trap Tricks, a control deck where the games are going to typically go on longer, you do need to be very mindful of like what the next couple of turns. I mean, that's just general good TCG play in general, right? I said in general twice, but ooh, they did have the Oak here to bring the Ash back from Banish. So Snake Eye, although very graveyard oriented, doesn't like necessarily auto lose to something like Shifter. And Oak being able to summon back from the Banish is a lot of the reason why that's the case. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, no. Yeah, it's really easy, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh, to get caught up in just the moment. Think about like what I need to play through in this moment. But you also need to think about what the next, like what the rest of the current turn is going to look like, what the next turn is going to look like, what your comeback play is going to look like. So planning ahead, always important in a lot of decks, but especially again in a deck like Trap Trick. So here they're going to summon out the Flamberge. We do have the call by for that, which is pretty good. I noticed we got rid of our Floodgate Trap Hole. Oh, Floodgate Trap Hole. One of my least favorite cards in the game. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I hate stuff that flips a card face down and says, haha, you can never flip it up. It's just like, cool. Guess I'll tribute summon, fusion summon, or just be screwed. But nah, it's all good. It's just because I play Synchro and Link decks, that's why. If I was like a Brandon main, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. Okay, so this Little Knight is proving to be quite annoying, and now there's also an IP on the field. But I will say that, like, especially if there are like a lot of people who are ditching the Underworld Goddess altogether for Little Knight, the IP might not even really threaten to go into much here. Okay, Ash Blossom against Murmello. They're going to Little Knight again for the Murmello and Snake Eye Ash. I guess they want us to not be able to summon a rank 4 here, but we're going to be able to anyway. And we can summon a Trap Trick, so there's Dionea. Dionea setting the Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Imperm gonna be their last card. But yeah, I don't know if they're IP. I mean, even if they have Goddess in the deck, they can't go for it anymore. They don't have enough bodies on the board. Ah, Time Thief Redoer. Oh no, okay, they are activating IP. Let's see what they end up making here. Is it gonna be a second Little Knight in Rescue Ace, I wonder. Oh no, we just put it back. Hold on a second. Hold on. We bounced their Redoer? Or their IP? Oh, because we have trap card. Duh! That's right, we have trap cards attached. I don't know, for some reason I just assumed these were going to be monsters under it, but no. Ah, of course, that's why Redoer is so good in this deck. How could I forget? Ah, now I'm curious what they were going to go into with IP, though. It had to be Nightmare Unicorn, right? I can't imagine running Nightmare Unicorn while Little... Like, that one I can't fathom. Like, Goddess while Little Knight is legal, I can imagine. But the Redoer, I don't know. It's Subversion on the Little Knight. I imagine just to force it, because, like, you know what's going to happen here. Little Knight, we're going to banish their Snake Eye Ash. Ooh, triple attack. Oh, they're going to draw to you. Okay. Well, yeah, you would have to... Unless you were on Zeus, which almost no Snake Eye deck is. You would always draw 2 here. Yep. Okay, so... They do find the Snake Eye Ash. They also summon the Jet Synchron, which is kind of interesting. Kurikara. Oh, but because I see... So, Licky Boy mentioned that they were never so glad to take a monster from Redoer. I thought they meant to take that specific monster, and I saw Valor, and I was like, well, what does Valor do? But no, you just meant you were glad to have a monster in general, because we had a monster, we were able to dodge the Kurikara. By activating Redoer, we banish itself. Now all we have is the Murmello that has not activated its effect, which means Kurikara is not live. Then during our end phase, we get back Redoer and Little Knight, and they just get back a Snake Eye Ash. Ah, I see. That's very good. That's very good stuff. Hell yeah. It's the kind of game, I mean, it's the kind of game I love to see. And it's the kind of game that makes me very, very glad we do the viewer special here. Of course, all of them are, but like, especially like really, really, like ones with really technical play, ones where I really feel like I learned quite a bit. And I definitely did about Trap Tricks here, I think, and just using Time Thief Reviewer in general. So thank you very much, Linky Boy, for your submission. We do have one more game to see, so let's finish off with that one. Okay, so our final game is going to come to us from Adelon. Adelon is playing a game with Memento against... Would you believe me? Would you believe me if I said we're playing against Snake Eye again? So, let me pull up the list here. Good stuff. Yep, Memento is a pretty cool deck that I have played it. I thought I didn't for a second for some reason. We've covered it on the channel. I definitely need more practice with it because it's a cool deck. A lot of the people I test with are very Memento pilled right now, so I feel like I'm missing out by not jumping on that train. So we're gonna get Max Seed here, and one of the things that Adelon was mentioning is that they felt like they could have played this game a little bit better. And one thing that they said in particular was playing like half measured into Max C. I think the exact words where I can even pull them up here. Tried to wing it. No. Half measure against Max C, either commit into it fully and gamble or just pass and hope. That's kind of my experience a lot of the time with Max C as well, is like, it's kind of tempting to be like, oh, I'll make like a half committal play, and then, you know, they'll only draw a few cards, and then I'll end on like somewhat of a board. But I do agree that, like, I think we're going kind of all out here against Max C though, aren't we? We're taking the challenge, in my opinion. Because we're ending on a full board here. This is going to be IP plus the Combined Creation plus Cranium Burst. But yeah, no, it can be a little tempting to be like, oh, I'll end on like half my board and only give them like 4 draws. But I think if you're going to play into Max C, you should just go for it. And not try to do half measures. Which I don't think we necessarily did here. I feel like we did a full combo line into Max C. Now, whether that was the right play or not, I don't know, but I don't feel like what we did was necessarily a half measure. Unless, again, I'm not the most well-versed in Memento. Maybe we could have done more with that hand. But I'm generally, turn 1, I'm a favor of just passing. Like, it feels bad to just pass into a Max C with, like, playing almost literally nothing on your board. But I feel like against most decks, you have a better chance with that than giving them like this many cards. But I don't know, at the same time, we did see there are some examples in which making them draw and taking the Max C challenge is beneficial. Like, if we've been playing against Pearly, I talked about this in yesterday's video because we played against Spiral with Adventurous Sprite, who took the Max C challenge. The Spiral opponent did. Ghost Rider was their name. And ooh, the Little Knight on the Cranium Burst is... that's pretty brutal. Because Cranium Burst is only once per chain. Although we have the Veiler here, so we can actually stop it. That's good. Oh, but they have the Cross Out. No! Oh, we were so close. Honestly, okay, I will say, I kind of think it came down to this Cross Out. Like, if we had been able to negate that Little Knight, we'd probably be good. I'm not going to make a guarantee and say we would be good to fit. Oh, they have Subversion too, though, so that does make things a little more dicey. Like, if they didn't have Crossout, they would have just used Subversion on the Cranium Burst. And then we'd be in the same situation where, well, no, we wouldn't. We'd be able to make Little Knight at a time that's more convenient. Although this actually isn't too bad, banishing their Flamberge here. Huh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Adelon, I think this game is playing out, like, again, given that we took the Max C challenge, I think you're playing about as well as you could have here. Like, I'm not seeing too many more opportunities. It's just, again, they have so many resources, right? Okay, I guess here's another reason why Goddess and SP is not a bad idea either, is... I was actually thinking about this earlier, too, is grind games, right? Grind games, SP and the Goddess can very easily both come up, but... Again, there's only so much room in the Snake Eye extra deck. All right, passing back over to us. We get our combined creation back, but alas, they get their little knight back. Starting by battling over it makes a lot of sense here, yeah. Oh, Silvera. I always forget that you can pitch the Diabell from hand with that, too. Negating the mace. We do get to use the combined creation F, of course, Stable Diabell. Oh, and they have the Veiler, too. I was going to be like, they have everything. But it's like, again, of course they did. They maxed us. Although, yeah, we can use the fusion in response. That'll let our combined creation dodge the Veiler. But I don't remember... Well, even if we don't right now, we should be able to get enough bodies in the graveyard to bring back the combined creation. The problem is going to be that Cranium Burst. It's still banished. We don't have a way to get it back. So that's like... that's like pretty much all of the ways that this deck interrupts. So it's going to be an uphill climb for sure. It's going to be brutal. Oh, the Imperm on the fusion too. Oh, that's extra brutal. It's, I don't know. I don't want to say it's Jover now, but it's looking pretty Jover. Did they shuffle that back with Wanted, or is that a second Subversion? No, they shuffled it back, of course. Okay. I was going to say, there's no shot that's a second Subversion. Making the Little Knight, banishing their face down. Oh man, the Ash Blossom! Oh. Wait, are we on? Yeah, I was going to say, we're only on the one. But can the field spell, it only sets from the graveyard, right? Yeah. Dang. Yeah, now they get to Original Sin for the Oak. Oh, and they have the Silvera too. That's pretty brutal. Yeah, because it can be activated not only in response to Diabell, but also to the Sinful Spoil. I always forget that part of it. I remember that it has that graveyard effect, but I always think the graveyard effect is only in response to the Diabell itself. But no, they can do it in response to a Sinful Spoils effect too. Not even a Sinful Spoils card being activated, just an effect as the Original Sin was about to activate, or did activate in the graveyard there. So, GG's though, Adelon. Like I said, You said in your description that you had a half measure, and again, maybe this is just me not being the most knowledgeable with Memento, but I feel like as far as taking the Maxi Challenge goes, we played as well as we could have into that. I think it's more of a question of should we have taken the Maxi Challenge. Again, it feels bad either way, regardless of if you do your plays and give them a bunch of cards, or if you pass with nothing into, you know, their 5 cards or whatever. It does feel bad either way. I usually like to hedge though, and I'm like, you know what, because the way I see it, if they draw, you know, especially if they draw more than 4 or 5 cards, like, there's almost no way they don't have plays plus a board breaker. Like, if I assume their deck is built competently, which you should, you know, for all of your opponents, just to play on the safe side, if nothing else, then they're very likely going to have access to both a board breaker and a combo. So I would much rather, like, make them open plays and have a chance that they might brick by not giving them any draws. But it also varies deck to deck, situation to situation, and I definitely don't fault people for taking the Maxi Challenge a lot of the time. I can understand why. So, but thank you for that submission. Thank you to everyone, of course, who submitted for this week. Definitely could not be doing this series without your games coming in. So I'm grateful for that week to week, definitely, for sure. Much appreciated. But let's go ahead and just move now to our outro. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That means a lot to me. It's also a great way to support the channel, so thank you very much in that way as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, like the very special patrons that I am thanking here, you can do so by checking out some of the links in the description. One of those goes to the Patreon, where you can join these fine folk and support the channel that way. I do post daily content over on Patreon, so you do get something for supporting there. And if you're interested, I also have a coaching tier option as well. Details again will be on Patreon in the link below. Also in the description linked below is my Twitch page where I stream a few times a week. You can go ahead and check that out, follow or subscribe over there if you ever want to catch me live. You'll also find my second YouTube channel if you feel like subscribing over there to watch some of the Twitch VODs as well as some additional non-Yu-Gi-Oh related content that I make over there. Again, any of those links you want to check out is all a great way of supporting. But again, even if you don't do that, just watching was also a fantastic way to support. And once again, I have to thank you so very much. But in any case, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out, and I'm hoping you have a fantastic day.